I don't believe Elon is a right winger. And when you see interviews with him, certainly, at least socially and in many ways culturally, seems very moderate or even somewhat on the left in my experience. So I don't think Elon's a right winger. That's not an interesting critique. It does seem, though, that throughout the Twitter escapade, he certainly ended up closer to some voices that may be influencing him in a particular way, that's giving some people that impression, But as far as like the Elon hate or the Elon love, it's just a person who's done some interesting things, some of which I like and some of which I could kind of leave aside.
I have seen folks drift towards the right more in response to just the viciousness of attacks from the left.
Like who?
Elon and
so you do think he's drifted towards the right?
So I don't think at the core, but I think on the surface.
Okay.
I think, and I think Joe Rogan has as well on the surface, because
I think so.
Maybe you can correct me, but it feels like people on the left attack more viciously.
That has not been my experience.
What? Oh, it hasn't? No, yeah, let me know, because my sense was that they attack people on the left viciously as well. Left attacks its own, because you're not progressive enough. You're not, it's just this kind of bullying that happens very intensely.
No, you're 100% right that when the left has attacked me, it's almost as vicious as when the right attacks me. The difference in my experience is it's a smaller contingent on the left that's willing to levy those attacks against me, but I'm on the left. So to some degree, you could say, well, that's to be expected. There is toxicity on the left.
But it's intense, isn't it? Like, and that's what I mean. Like the attacks on people who are on the left, just you're not left enough.
Yeah,
and it is a small number of people.
I can't deny that is absolutely a real phenomenon. And it depending on what sort of topics you take on publicly, you are going to suffer the wrath of that to a greater or lesser degree. But with all of these things, what I always go back to is, I probably would have more disagreements with Rogan today than the last time I was on his show, which was like at the beginning of the pandemic. But there would be zero, and I've done clips critical of things that he has said, substantive, of course. To me, it's sort of like, oh yeah, I could sit down with him and do a podcast and it would be zero big deal. And I would tell him I stand by everything I said about what you said, and I would say it to you right now. Mm-hmm. There are people who write to me and go, oh man, things must be really, really tense now. If you were to, Rogan would never have you on because you disagreed. And
he loves you.
I'm sure he's just not thinking of me. I'm not the most important thing to Joe Rogan. I think both of us would be able to sit down and talk about every one of my criticisms. It would not be taken personally. And then we would move on and it would be the next day.